Hey everyone, my name is Jasmine Gardosi. Um, I am a spoken word poet, and it's an absolute honor to be able to speak with you all the way in Uganda. Um, so, Teacher Jess has told me that you're going to be doing a little bit of spoken word or slam poetry in your school, which I think is really exciting. So, I'm going to tell you a little bit about myself and then give you a bit of an introduction to what spoken word poetry is. I'm a poet based in Birmingham, in England. I'm the Midlands Slam champion, which is the Midlands is the region in which I live. I run poetry workshops, host open mic nights, I perform in lots of different venues. And yeah, that's what I do. Spoken word, what is it? Here in England, you can define it as performance poetry. So, poetry that's designed for the stage. It's a way to express your views or describe a moment in your life or current events happening right now or someone else's life. You can just tell stories, you can write about anything so long as it's true to you, really. Lots of influences in there. Some people call it a bit like drama, a bit like hip hop, maybe, or jazz. There's a rap in there if you want there to be rap. It's got influences of storytelling, even stand up comedy. So, that mixture and the combination of different influences is up to you and your style. You can technically call Eminem a spoken word poet. You can call Shakespeare a spoken word poet. It's a wide genre. Like the other poetry that you might have studied, you use your metaphors and your similes and your wordplay, your repetition, your alliteration, and sometimes your rhythm, and sometimes you can make it rhyme as well. You don't have to make your poems rhyme. I think personally, for me, it's more important that poem touches you rather than it rhyming. Um, there are people who include a bit of singing in their spoken word poems or put it in list form. So it's entirely up to you. So the main thing is that when you've written your poem, you stand in front of an audience, either with a mic or not, and you use your voice and body to express yourselves. Sometimes it's with a piece of paper, or you can use your phone. Sometimes it's easier to hold, or you can recite from memory, which is what I prefer to do because it means that you can connect with your audience. Um, you can even have group poems. They're called polyvocal performances, where maybe it's a duet and you're writing a poem for the two of you to perform. There's a lot of options. There is also, as you might be aware, a competition format, and that's called slam poetry, which is very very common in the US and sometimes happens here in the UK too. Um, slam poetry is a competition in which the poets go through rounds. So say that there's 10 of you in the first round. The judges decide who goes through. Maybe 5 go through to the second round. You don't compete against one another. You just perform your poems and you're scored on your individual poem in each round. There is a tradition that originates in the US that slam poems are a maximum of 3 minutes long, but that's just one type slam rule, really. I've performed in a slam without that rule, and that's absolutely fine. Maybe you want to create your own tradition. There is another interesting thing about performance poetry, clicking. So, when you like a line in a poem, you can click to show an appreciation of it if you're sitting in the audience. That lets the poet know that what they've said is good. And it also shows that you're showing support. The reason why we click instead of clap and during the poem means that you're not disturbing the poet. So the interesting and the really important thing to know about competition in poetry and these slams is that it's not about the winning. It's about bringing a community together and supporting each other and cheering each other on. So yeah, let's have a look, see how we're doing for time. All right. I'm just going to leave you with a few tips. Write as many drafts as you want to write. What comes out first necessarily isn't going to be the best or end product. Writing spoken word is as much about editing as coming up with the ideas, so don't be afraid to write version A and read it loud to yourself in the mirror of a friend, then edit that, and then read it again, edit that until it's ready to share, and when it is ready to share, practice, practice, practice. That's the second tip. Practice as much as you can until you're familiar with the poem. It sounds better that way. When you are performing, a few things: eye contact, speak clearly, the slower the better. Keep that expression in your voice and your face because you're performing. You don't want to be monotone. And yeah, watch lots of things online. That will help you. That's my next tip. My last tip. Watch lots of things online. There's a lot of things on YouTube that go viral that just connect people across continents. Especially check out the YouTube channel Button Poetry. Lots of good stuff on there. I just want to leave you with one thing. You define what spoken word poetry and performance is. Everything that I've said is just my opinion of what spoken word is. That will change because the art form is changing. Especially where you are, it could be that you want to create your own style, and that's brilliant. There's no set length. There's no one way of doing it. There are poems out there that are even like that last 10 seconds or 15 minutes. Spoken word is a very young art form, and it's up to you guys to decide what it is. So, good luck, guys.